Hey friends, Joe the Farm here. Welcome back to the channel. If you watched the last video, we built a Greenworks mini bike. These are 60 volt machines, all electric, all rechargeable. The mini bike has proven to be an amazing tool. Absolutely love that thing. We've been ripping around the farm on it. It has been a ton of fun. So I cannot wait to get this built as far as the go-kart goes, because this is going to be something that's going to be great for me to try out to see if I can fit in that thing, because, you know, I'm a larger human. But my kids are going to absolutely love it because stuff like this, it's not loud. We had a go-kart before, and the carburetor and just the noise of the engine really kind of freaked the kids out a little bit. It's a good way to teach them about engines, but the electric is really kind of where the world's going. And in all likelihood, the kids are going to be riding this thing around. It looks insanely comfortable. It has Bluetooth speakers. The Bluetooth speakers on the mini bike work great. It is insanely easy to set up. And unboxing the mini bike and putting it together took about 20 minutes. It was very simple. And I'm hoping this one is as simple. It's a much bigger package. If you haven't checked out the mini bike video, I'd love for you to watch that video also. And again, we want to say thank you to Greenworks for being partners with us on this. They are leaders in this kind of stuff, and they build these machines in Morristown, Tennessee. So they're fellow Tennesseans, and it's just very exciting. I think that this is where the future is going. I think that when it comes to having these kinds of tools where you just plug them in, not do oil changes and fill them up with fuel and diesel cans everywhere and gas cans everywhere, this is just awesome. It's the future. I hope this thing runs as well as I think it will. We're gonna have a great time. Let's build it. Let's have some fun. Okay, anytime you're dealing with these kinds of things, you want gloves, because these bands, they can pop back at you. You want gloves, eye protection. So I used the tractor and the pallet forks to get this in here. This is a heavy box. I'm not exactly sure how you would do this in a residential situation. My guess is it would be a lift gate kind of thing, and then you just kind of build it from the driveway. But here, fortunately, we have the pallet forks. That is something to consider. I'm not sure how that will work out. If I hear from Greenworks, I will put that in the description down below so you have an idea. Be careful we don't use our knife in that seat. All right, so this is in a steel cage, just like the mini bike was. The good news is, I think it's mostly assembled. The bad news is we have to do more of the ratcheting to get this cage off. Not a big deal, but it looks like all the wheels and everything are attached. That's a big plus. So as we dig into here again, this is the Stealth Series, all-terrain. Grease Eric's on here, very well built, really well thought out. Looks like we need to put the steering wheel on, put the seat in there. We'll have to build the roll cage, but the wheels are on here. I remember when I built these in the past, you've had to put the castle nuts on there and make sure everything's on there good. That's the business end right there. That's where the batteries will go. Man, this is cool. Just like the mini bike, 25 miles per hour in sport mode. It has an eco mode and a sport mode. So eco mode on this one's 15 miles per hour. I'm not sure what it was on the mini bike, but this has a 15-mile range. The mini bike has a 20-mile range. Take that little skeleton off. So what I want to do first is I want to find the battery so we can start charging that. Seat. Okay, so this will be the charger. That's hardware. Aha, charger and batteries. And this is new. I haven't seen the Greenworks Pro, but this is a pretty serious battery. The Ultra Power Pro, Greenworks 60 volt, 8 amps, very little power. So we're gonna go and charge these. All right, so this one is green. The other one was black. I don't think there's any difference between the two. This one came with the mini bike. This one came with the go-kart. So I did not do a very good job of describing this charger. It does have plenty of settings on here. It looks like it probably has a trickle charge kind of thing where if it stays on there, it'll reduce it, but you can hear the fan on there. It does make some noise, but it charges really fast. They say 90 minutes, but for the mini bike, it was much faster than that. Again, I highly recommend anytime you're buying a battery operated tool or piece of equipment with one of these, you know, these aren't just like throwaway batteries. They're pretty high-tech batteries. Charge it overnight, charge it as long as you possibly can. Let the batteries do what they're supposed to do. It will make them last a lot longer. This stuff's expensive, so you want to take care of it. Okay, so we probably will need the instructions. There's a lot of pieces. We have a toolkit like we did on the other one on the mini bike. Looks like there's a whole lot of little wrenches and Allen keys and looks like assembly instructions. And then we have a whole bunch of different parts, all very well separated. I love that they're labeled A, B. That's great. Makes things very simple. That's how you do it, guys. And then notice this hardware all has Loctite in there, whatever the generic term of Loctite is. And this just goes step by step. So this is great. This will be very easy. Something that I want to note here. Install the steering wheel, hardware bag A. We would go through here, find hardware bag A, and that goes through those steps. For installing the seat, hardware bag B. Like, that is insanely simple. Greenworks, that's how you do it. That's awesome. Okay, we're going with hardware bag A. Take the steering wheel. I'm gonna put these bolts through there just to hold it on. I am using what they provided. I really didn't want to, but I don't have a wrench small enough. These little bolts are kind of small. Get that started. All right, so that starts it off. Not gonna lie, this is a little tedious. All right, steering wheel, check. Okay, so now we're moving on to the seat and we're moving on to bolt packet B. And from what I'm seeing, I'm supposed to take this off the crate. The way I'm gonna do that is just by putting all the weight on the front, lift the back, walk it off, no problem. So I'll clear this, and then when we get back to the assembly. Now that it's out of the crate, we got some working space. Okay, that bolt will go there, this one will go here. Highly suggest a ratchet for this one. Okay, quick update. The seat belts are a bit of a bear. I may have done them wrong. They seem like they're just a little too long. And some of these bolts back here, like this would take a bolt, the nut, a lock washer, and a washer, but some of them like down there, the bolt wasn't long enough. So again, I may have done this wrong. I'm really just kind of orienting it to where I can get a tool in there to tighten it like down there. That's gonna be hard to get something in there to tighten that down. Let's just say I'm not so sure that I'm going to keep the seat belts on this machine. It has a roll cage. My personal opinion, that may be a short-term thing. With that said, I'm gonna call it a night, wrap this up in the morning, but with the magic powers of YouTube, I will see you in the morning. Welcome back, day 2 of the go-kart build. I ran out of gas yesterday personally, so I came back here to do it this morning. We're almost done. You know, the thing's pretty much built. We need to do the roll cage, some fine-tuning things. We plugged the batteries in overnight. Those things are all fully charged, so those are great. It's not really illustrated on the instructions how to do the seat belts very well. We'll talk very quickly about that. Also, it references different bags. We talked about that earlier. It'll say on here what bag of hardware you need for what specific step you're in on the process. For this one, there's really no reference to bag C, so you'll just have to think about that. If it skips from A, B, to D, C is the one you need there. So anyway, let's get this thing finished and then we're gonna take it for a ride, give first impressions, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see, so we are on install the brush guard and rack. I believe that this is bag C. That's the one we were talking about. Let's get that rolling. Should be pretty easy to tell which is which. So there's actually brake lights on this thing. Not really sure it matters which is which. Looks like they're about the same on each side. I don't really see much of a difference. I guess you want this wire on the inside, so this is probably on that. On the driver's side, I know I talk about this thing all the time, but this little kit right over there has a bit in there that makes this so much easier. We're starting to get to the end of this thing. It's nice that these come with the padding on there. It's pretty secure on there too. That's probably so you don't bump your noggin. And I know I've mentioned this before, but it is nice that these bolts all have Loctite on them, or a bolt fastener, whatever you want to call it. And somehow this needs to go in there. That's gonna be a chore. All right, just a heads up, to get these lined up, you may have to undo some of these. I had to undo this batch and both in the front, which hopefully they won't be too hard to get back on. 10 millimeter, it works. That just makes it so much easier. But this thing's gonna twist, but I'm not too concerned about that. I think I'm gonna have to take these bolts out also. Yeah, that's the only way to do it is take those bolts out. Okay, they're done. All right, so I'm about to save you guys a ton of frustration with this machine. A lot of these things are not meant to be perfectly level. They want to be under some kind of tension. So this is not lining up ever since I've had to redo this to get this bolt in this little brace up here. So take a screwdriver, set it in there and pull up, and then you should be able to get one of them threaded. Once you can get one threaded, you should be able to get them both threaded. There we go. That's all you got to do. We are truly coming to a close here, and this little cargo basket needs to get in between these two bars, which is probably going to be easier said than done. Yep, definitely easier said than done. Not exactly sure why this wasn't higher up in the instructions. Well, I'm embarrassed to say what I did to have to get this thing in here. This really should be in the instructions to where it says to do this piece before you do the other one. So 100% this needs to go in before anything else. I've already wrestled with these, not wrestling with those again to loosen everything. I've loosened the bolts down here twice. So doing it a third time was not really on my list of things I wanted to do. I actually took these, banged them on the concrete to wedge these in. I'm gonna have to hit that with some paint because there's no other way to get it in there. This and these bolts right here are the two most difficult so far. Well, there she is, all built, all complete. I think in total it probably took about 2 hours, and that's me taking my time with it. But yeah, I mean, I think that more than anything, you want to have good tools to help you do it. This net actually goes in the back, the safety net. I'm not going to put this on there because we're on a gravel road. This will get disgusting and destroyed pretty quickly. But there's only one thing left to do, and that's to put the batteries in it. It's a really nice looking go-kart. It's never going to look this clean again. I do need to get in there and grease some of these Zerks, make sure tires are all full of air. Really great instructions other than a couple hiccups. I think we're ready to ride. What do y'all think? I say we do it. Full juice. Well, that's the 60 volt Stealth Series all-terrain go-kart. I mean, what do y'all think? I want to hear it in the comments. Is this something you guys like, something you'd buy, something you think has purpose in your life? I think it's pretty awesome. I mean, let's face it, if you're not enjoying something like this and riding it, you got to figure out what you're doing with your life if something like that is not fun to you. I'm a big dude riding this thing and just going down those hills. I'm hitting 20 miles an hour, the G-forces and the wind, and it's just fun. You know, I mean, that's why you buy something like this. This is not going to be a big machine here on the farm, but this is going to bring a lot of kids enjoyment and probably some adults some enjoyment. And whisper quiet. It's called an all-terrain go-kart. It absolutely is all-terrain. It will go anywhere. I mean, I had no issue on grass, tall grass. I had no issue on gravel. It's not going to go up the big hill that we have. We call it the Gauntlet. That hill's too tall. This thing isn't really built for that. Maybe with a kid on it, but not with me on it. It's not going to. The mini bike actually will go up that hill. That's also a lot lighter than this is. Y'all tell me what you think. I think it's really, really cool. I think that the rack is rock solid, even though it's kind of a pain to put on. It's a really nice looking machine. We haven't tried the Bluetooth on it though, but it's probably very similar to the mini bike, real easy to hook up. But there's also some features on here we didn't cover, which we may do in another video. This was really just to unbox it, build it, show it to you all. And in future videos, what I'll probably do is I'll probably have my kids on here and let them kind of give you their impression. And I appreciate y'all watching this video. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a like, share this video with your friends. Listen, if you're planning on doing this for Christmas, don't be like Christmas Eve guy. Do this a couple days before Christmas because you don't want to be up until 3 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve putting this thing together because it does take a little bit of work. Very simple to do and very well designed. So anyway, Greenworks, thank you for thinking of us. We appreciate you. And I will catch you on the next one. Joe the Farmer. We out.